Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Working Trader. And it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Let's jump into this. Okay, let's jump into this. So, as usual, we'll start with all right. Thank you, Tawanda, for joining. Good morning, good morning. Okay, so we'll jump right in. As usual, we'll start with Forex Factory. So as I was saying, because of the shutdown, so if you remember from yesterday, we had some CPI, high impact news for the USD, but because of the CPI, because of the US government shutdown, I was saying that those news reports may not be made available, and as we can see, they've been taken off from the news calendar. Okay, so that means we no longer have any high impact news for the US dollar today or tomorrow. Okay, so that means there won't be much in the way of volatility, so to speak. So there won't be much in the way of volatility, but nonetheless, the markets will still move. Okay, the markets will still move. So let's jump onto the charts. Okay, let's start with let's start on the daily. All right, we're looking at the euro US dollar chart. Okay, so just a recap of what we are looking at overall. So we can see that the euro dollar is in an uptrend. So the swing trend is bullish. Okay, the swing trend is bullish on the daily, and the internal trend is bearish. Why did the internal trend switch bearish, or why is it bearish? It is bearish because it is facilitating the pullback of the daily swing. Okay, it is facilitating the pullback of the daily swing. So because it's doing that, it could be, as you can see, we have this unmitigated demand level right here at the bottom. All right, this is the extreme demand. So the expectation is that if price is to continue bullish, okay, towards this week daily high, we would have expected that it would maybe mitigate this low, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to mitigate this daily demand, but it came close enough. And this, if we are to look at our range, all right, at our range, price is already in discount. This is deep discount. Okay, so at any point in this discount range, price could just reverse. Okay, so price could have made its higher low, and now switching bullish, all right, to target the week swing daily high. Okay, but focusing on the internal trend, because we need to make trading decisions based on the current price action. So current price action is the internal is bearish. So because the internal is bearish, we've had a bearish break of structure, and price started to pull back. So this could be a pullback to facilitate the internal pullback. Okay, so this pullback could just be an internal pullback to facilitate the pullback of the internal before it continues bearish to take out this weak internal daily low. Okay, so right now, because the swing is sort of far off, we can simply focus on the internal range. All right, so we are simply focusing on the internal range currently. So on the internal range, the expectation was that price would push up at least to mitigate the premium of the internal range before we can expect price to start pulling back, okay, or to continue with the bearish internal trend. Price has already mitigated the supply range if we measure from this low here. Okay, so as you can see, price is already in the supply range, so it is possible that price could start dropping from here. Okay, however, I've refined my zone to the extreme, okay, to this extreme. So this is the unmitigated extreme that we have. So price could continue pushing up to at least mitigate this before it starts continuing back down. All right, then we go to the 4-hour. So when we look at the 4-hour, it's the same thing. The swing trend for the 4-hour is the same as the swing trend for the bullish. It's for the daily trend, it's bullish. Okay, and then the internal 4-hour trend is bearish to facilitate the swing pullback. So we are simply going to be focusing on the current internal swing range, or current internal range rather, which is from this high to this low. Okay, so price had a change of character. Price had a change of character. Right here at the bottom, and since then price has been pushing up, and then we've had these fractal breaks of structure. So what we've been noticing is demand zones were being created and being respected, so no demand area has been violated so far on the 4-hour time frame. So this is our medium time frame. So the expectation now has been that we expect price to mitigate this 4-hour demand and then push up to take out this weak internal of the internal high, okay, to then at least mitigate this 4-hour supply, or even push all the way to the daily supply as we're expecting, before we see maybe a bigger retracement, okay, or a bigger push down. So looking at the 1-hour, this is our current trend. The internal is bullish. Okay, so as we can see, we've been having bullish breaks of structure. Okay, bullish internal breaks of structure rather. So currently we are bullish. So the 4-hour is bullish, and then the 1-hour is bullish. So that means our focus at the moment should be at looking for buy trade. Okay, looking at buy trade. So as of yesterday, I was saying that we were expecting with this demand zone, which I was saying I was expecting it to be induced. Okay, I was expecting it to be run over to at least mitigate this lower demand zone that is nested in this 4-hour demand zone. And at the time when we were looking at the chart, price was making this high, and then we had a change of character. So this chalk bullish, right, meant that this low became a strong low. So the expectation now was that this low needs to be run over first before we can expect price to start pushing bullish all the way towards the week this week high. All right, and as we can see, if anyone had jumped in early thinking that they were going to miss a trade, they would have been disappointed when price came down again, okay, and took them out if their stops were here. All right, and even if, say, your stops were a little bit lower than the zone, you see price came down lower, looked like going up, and then came down again. Okay, so, and then soon after that, you see that we had a sharp price move, bullish. Okay, and then of course during the PM session of the New York session and during Asia, price kind of reduced its momentum, pulled back a little bit. Okay, so still the trade idea is valid, so I'm still expecting price to continue bullish towards this week high. Hopefully it will hit our take profit. Okay, hopefully it will hit take profit. So currently this is the position I'm in, this position I'm holding, waiting for 2R. Okay, so all right, so this is the trade idea. So currently it means today there's nothing to do really. We're just waiting. Okay, we're just waiting. So either price will continue, at least to take out this week high, hopefully, hit TP, or price could simply drop, take us out, remove these demand zones, the nested 1 hour demand and the 4 hour demand, as well as strong, as well as this strong low. And then once that happens, it means we are having a change of trend, okay, to being bearish. And now it means price could be ready to start pushing down. Okay, price could then be ready to start pushing down. But as it stands, we are bullish. That's what we are. We are bullish. Okay, so that's the analysis and recap of the euro dollar. So there's nothing much to it right now. It's just waiting for either take profit to be hit or stop loss to be hit. Simple as that. I am trading with this sequence daily for our 1 hour because it allows me to have time to simply look at my charts in the morning before I go to work, and then I don't have to be constantly looking at the charts. Okay, also I'm doing this because I'm trying to solidify my process, make it as consistent as possible, doing the same things every day on the charts, and then hopefully the results will come. And for everyone who's joining, if you have any questions, you can always put them in the chat box as I'm doing the analysis, and I'll try to respond and give you as much value as I can, as I'm also working on being accountable and trading my system. But other than that, thank you for joining. This is the current trade we are in. Really, there's not much except we're just waiting. Okay, right now we're just waiting. So have a good day. Working Trader is out.